Astro Bot is a game full of really cool details that a lot of people may have missed. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at 45 Easter eggs and hidden details in Astro Bot. Now, of course, I'm only human, so there is every chance that I've missed something. And if you think I have, then be sure to let me know in the comments and I'll cover it in a future video. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with more Cameo Bot interactions. Now, I've already made a video covering 29 of my favourite interactions with the various famous faces that you can rescue in Astro Bot, but there were a couple that I missed that I wanted to share today. First up is Delsin Rowe from Infamous Second Son, who sets himself on fire. Next up is Spyro the Dragon, who sets Astro on fire. Up next we have one of the stranger Cameo Bots, that being the cursor from creation game Dreams. I don't know why, this one is just really satisfying to watch. This is a footballer from Pro Evolution, and attacking him makes him act like he's been shot, just like a real football player when they're tackled. The reason that this one is so cool is that you can actually take the footballer's ball and do with it as you please. Attacking the hunter from Bloodborne won't work, as just like the game he's from, he will parry your strikes with his pistol. If you attack any of the animals that you've rescued, they will follow you, with the cat from Stray taking his sweet time in catching up. Finally, if you have Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series and Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series stand together, they will start to talk to each other. And snapping a picture of the pair using the game's photo mode will reward you with the Thick as Thieves trophy. Oh, and speaking of Lara, when rescuing her from the Hieroglyph Pyramid level, you have to sneak behind her so that you don't wake the giant stones hanging dangerously overhead. Well, if you try to get both Astro and Lara killed by being loud, this will happen. So Lara will make use of a convenient hole in the floor to escape being squished, which I think is a pretty clever way of avoiding a gruesome Lara Croft death. Now, each planet that you land on in Astro Bot is usually full of animals, be it monkeys, koala bears, or whatever these are. They normally won't attack you, they're just here to watch you do your thing. Well, some of these animals actually have secret interactions with Astro. For example, on the Trunk of Funk level, if you climb on top of the cow, this will happen. You can also find a not as friendly deer inside the safari zone, and trying to climb on its back will cause this to happen. Don't worry, you can have Astro cool off in the bath at the crash site, though there is an annoying bug that bothers him. After taking a break, Astro can ride on the back of a turtle where he shows off his impeccable surfing skills. And after all that excitement, Astro can lay on a sun lounger where he will eventually fall asleep. Now, if I'm honest, I don't actually get why the Safari Zone is a thing. Like, it's cool to explore and look at all the animals, but other than that, there isn't really much to do. Well, apart from this. So this is a reference to The Lion King and this famous scene in particular. Now, one of my favourite details from Astro's Playroom was how the raindrops were actually tiny little PlayStation symbols, and I'm glad to say that detail has returned in Astro Bot. Though it's not only the rain that has been given the PlayStation magic treatment, as now even snowflakes are PlayStation symbols. Now, given that there are quite a few power-ups in Astro Bot, the game does a great job of reminding you of what each ability does, though it did leave something out. The frog gloves turn Astro into Prime Mike Tyson, minus all the ear biting and tiger owning. Astro can walk into a room with these bad boys on and clear it out without even breaking a sweat. Well, it turns out that a really cool power-up can be even cooler. If you charge Astro's punch and then hold both L2 and R2 when spinning, this will happen. So Astro can make his already lethal spin attack even more lethal by letting his gloves fly as he spins. I mean, I'm not sure how many times this is practical to use in game, but it does look cool. Something else that I love about Astro Bot is this bird. You see, after completing a level and then choosing to replay it, you have the option to pay 200 coins for the bird's services. Now, you might be wondering what we get for our money. Well, this bird seeks out any collectibles or secrets in the level, and alerts you to them when you're nearby. I mean, sure, you could just use a guide on the internet, but that means you have to stop playing to check said guide, whereas the bird tells you where you need to go, which means you can keep playing. Now, it's worth remembering that the bird will go wherever Astro goes, and that even means following you down to the murky depths in the water levels. Don't worry though, he came prepared, as when underwater, the bird can be seen wearing a mask, which I think is a really nice touch. Speaking of being underwater, if you have Astro stand under any form of running water, he will do this. So Astro will take the time to have a wash. This reminds me of a detail that we covered recently in Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, where having Luigi stand underwater would do the same thing. Now, this next discovery is kind of weird. For the most part, the enemies in Astro Bot have one thing on their minds, that being sending Astro to the Junkyard. Well, on the Go-Go Archipelago level, you can find this. So instead of hunting down Astro, these two seem to be on a date. Like I said, this is really weird, and I found no other examples where the bots weren't being murdering scumbags, so perhaps there is more to this than meets the eye. Now, on the Construction Derby level, you can find a basketball hoop with no basketballs. And at first, I was kind of disappointed. But then I remembered that this is Astro Bot, and there is absolutely no way there aren't basketballs hidden around here somewhere. And what do you know, inside of this crate, we can find a whole bunch of them. And with a bit of practice, you'll be sinking 3-pointers that would make Steph Curry proud. Now, along with the boatload of Cameo Bots that need rescuing, Astro Bot also has specific levels that are themed around a certain game. For example, there is an entire level themed around Uncharted that sees Astro become Nathan Drake. Well, to become Nathan Drake, we first need his gun, and Nathan is more than happy to give it to us, because that means he can sit down and play his PlayStation Vita. If you think Drake isn't pulling his weight, you can attack him, and this will happen. Also on the Uncharted level, you can find 3 of these. These are precursor orbs from the Jak and Daxter series, which have appeared in all of the actual Uncharted games before, being called the Strange Relic. I'm guessing it won't just be me that finds it funny that the Astro Bot version of Uncharted even recreates the game's Easter eggs. Another PlayStation game to get the solo level treatment is God of War, which sees Astro becoming Kratos, allowing the little guy to kick some serious butt. Well, at the beginning of the level, you can find this. So someone was playing Bot of War Ragnarok, though I'm guessing it wasn't Kratos, as he doesn't really strike me as the sit down and play type. Another really nice touch that can be found when playing as Kratos can be seen when you respawn. So upon respawning, Astro will let out a loud shout whilst flexing, which is a reference to Kratos' Spartan rage. Now, I've already covered some really cool idle animations involving our tiny metal friend, but it turns out that I was only scraping the surface. You see, when Astro Bot is just Astro Bot, he will pull out a PS1 or a PSP and play games whilst waiting for you to return. The thing is, each of Astro's power-ups has their own idle animations, which is just mind-blowing to me. So first up, when using the hen power-up, the hen will check on her eggs. But if you continue to wait, when she next checks on them, they will have hatched. When wearing the metal ball power-up, this will happen. In what is perhaps the cutest animation of the lot, when Astro is wearing the dog backpack, this will happen. The octopus backpack makes use of its 8 arms and tickles Astro. The frog boxing gloves are honestly a little boring, seeing Astro do a bit of shadow boxing. Waiting around with a monkey on your back will cause this to happen. The time slow down backpack, which is a PSVR headset attached to a clock, will do this if you wait too long. The spongy Astro costume will see Astro chilling in a tub. However, if you go idle whilst full of water, and more importantly are massive, this happens instead. Oh, and by the way, if you get covered in oil whilst playing as spongy Astro, when you enter the water, it will recreate the rainbowy kind of effect that happens when oil touches water in real life, which is really cool. Anyway, when idle and wearing the bear backpack, Astro and the bear will form a one-man band. And finally, when wearing the penguin backpack, going idle does nothing. Which at first I was really disappointed with. But again, this is Astro Bot. I knew I must have missed something. So I went underwater and waited, and that's when this happened. So it's not just the power-ups that get special idle animations. Whenever you play as a PlayStation character, they too have unique animations. First up, when playing the Ape Escape level, this will happen. When playing the God of War level, this happens. When playing the Horizon level, this will happen. And finally, when playing the Uncharted level, this will happen. To put this much thought into not only these idle animations, but to every detail in this video, just blows my mind. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, perhaps consider subscribing or at the very least leaving a like. Again, if you think I've missed anything, then please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to check it out. And as always, I'll speak to you all soon.